Otto, we bring a message to your master, Jabba the Hutt. The Jabberwocker. And a gift. Gift? What gift? The Jabba no pardon. Trouble that can't be named. Tigers waiting till their turn singing.
The Aston Martin Vanquish, and it's the kind of car you want to take to the Riviera. But this is Britain, so we don't have a Riviera. So I took it to the Isle of Wight instead.
Tell me where do you go to, my lovely? When you're alone, you're there.
And here we are in Cowes. This is old school Britain. Shops selling heavy jumpers, pubs selling heavy food. So the Vanquish seems out of place. It has a new type of chassis which is theoretically very, very light. And the body is made of carbon fibre for the same reason. You might imagine then that the Vanquish is like modern British cuisine. Juice drizzled onto a spot of rocket. But no, it's a proper old steak and kidney pie, this. It actually weighs more than the DB7, and that's made of angle grinders and church pews. The locals didn't seem unduly bothered about the excess weight, though. And that's the best thing about driving a Vanquish. Even though it costs £158,000, everyone loves it. How much house can you get for that in the Isle of Wight? Really? So we're talking about the estate agent's window. What have you got for the price of a Vanquish, then? That house there, detached house, 3 bedrooms, lounge, whatever one of those is, 3-bedroom house, for about the same as the Aston. Would you rather have that house or that car?
The car.
Good girl.
Definitely the car.
That's a 6-litre, 460 horsepower V12 engine. You could attach that to your house and still do 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. So in a car... Just hurls you out of the corners. You just floor it and whack! Bang! Oh, that's a fast car. That's a properly fast car. So much power! It's not just the power either. It's the noise. Listen to this. I could get all flowery now and tell you It sounds like lightning, but actually what it sounds like is Tom Jones bending over to pick up the soap while he's in the showers in Wandsworth Neck. That noise. Ready? It is a wonderful noise, and I love the way this car looks too. I love the interior. I like the badge. I like the fact James Bond has one. I like its Britishness. You find yourself welling up as you growl along on a wave of nationalistic pride. I vow to thee, my country. It feels as though I'm driving around in Douglas Bader himself. But like Douglas Bader, the Vanquish has something missing. A gear lever. Look. Instead, I've got these Formula One style paddles behind the steering wheel. Right-hand side to change up, left-hand side to change down. And that means you have to keep both hands on the steering wheel, which is fine in Formula One. No one talks on the phone in Formula One, or eats. If you try doing a three-point turn, here look, I've run out of island, I've got to do one. So, reverse. Pull both of them, that's neutral. Push that. Wait, no, still hasn't. Yep, we've got reverse. Now, there we go. Back up. So I've got to get my foot off the brake, and before we've rolled into the Atlantic, I've got to hit the accelerator. But I mustn't hit it too hard, or I'll end up in the lifeboat hut, doing about 140 miles an hour. So. What a great gearbox. What a wonderful invention. Well done, whoever thought of this. What was the matter with the manual? Why do we have to have this? There are other problems too. It judders in town and the clutch gives up completely if you try to do a full-bore standing start. That means the Vanquish has to wade into battle with one arm tied behind its back, and that's a problem. Because look what's attacking it these days. This is the new Ferrari 575, fitted here with an equally new sports handling pack. It costs about the same as the Aston. Both are two-seaters. Both are front-engine, rear-drive GT cars. Both do nearly 200 miles an hour. Both do 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. So which is the best? Well, let's talk to the man who's driving the Ferrari. Damon Hill. So, what's it like?
It's beautiful.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just a lovely machine. It's everything you expect from a Ferrari. And it gives you that slight frisson, you know, the slight nervousness, the
scary
slight butterflies.
Is it scary?
Yeah. I mean, you have to pay it some respect. It's a prancing horse, you know. You don't actually feel completely comfortable in the car. You're enjoying driving it, but at the same time you're very wary of losing concentration on it.
Well, I tell you what, you drive that now. I'll drive this.
Okay.
Meet up at the end, see what we think.
Okay.
And if I flash,
yeah,
okay, it means I want to come by. If you just pull over, just get out of the way, all right?
right. Okay. And you really think that's going to happen, do you? What if I don't?
This has the same stupid gearbox as the Aston Martin, but unlike the Aston, you don't have to have it. You can save yourself £8,000, 8,000, and have a proper manual.
It's a little difficult to use words like awesome and very, very, very impressive when you're used to Formula One cars, because after that, everything else is a little bit sluggish. But for what it is, this is a very, very impressive beast.
The nice thing is that you can dawdle around in this car, minding your own business, going slowly, and then just drop a gear and suddenly you're in Schumacher mode.
I like to hear the engine again. So listen to this. Now it feels like a sports car.
Then, with the driving over, we met up to make a decision.
The Ferrari.
And for me, Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's just more complete somehow.
I think it gives you that shot of adrenaline, doesn't it? Which,
Yeah, the Aston does.
So, Jeremy, you were doing 40 miles an hour there.
Absolutely, we never exceeded the speed limit once in the entire making of that film there. I have to say, though, it was, for me, one of the greatest days, honestly and truthfully. Ferrari, Aston Martin, sun shone, Damon Hill. It was just heaven. And what made it particularly exciting was that the local Isle of Wight radio station decided, in its wisdom, to broadcast the fact over the air that Damon and Jeremy were down there with an Aston and a Ferrari, and why don't you all go along and have a look? So I came around the corner at 40 in the Ferrari, and there he is with his hair greased down. I brought my Nova down for you to have a look. Oh, God. Anyway, we got the herded them all off the road. It was just heaven.
But you
Great
loved
day.
this, didn't you? You loved the 575.
575 is a fabulous, fabulous car, but it must be stressed, the one that I drove there had the Fiorano handling pack on it, which transforms the car. Apparently, standard suspension, bit wallowy, bit soft.
But this one was spoiled, the Aston was spoiled.
Gearbox, just honestly.
Bad as that?
Oh, just ruins it. You just think, just change it, because it's affecting the second-hand values of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you went out with a slug of money, you'd struggle to buy a 575.
What's the waiting list on that now? It's
Well, list price, it's kind of 12, 18 months.
really?
Yeah,
for
I mean,
that?
if you want to pay a premium, you can get one before. But with a Vanquish, I could get you one next week, list price.
Really?
Yeah. And second-hand, whilst you'll see them advertised at strong money, if you try to trade one in, it's a different story. There's stories of these cars going 6 months old with like 50 grand depreciation, so 170 new, 120 second-hand.
So basically then, the Ferrari is a winner as far as an investment's concerned. It's a winner on the road. But what about on the track? It should be a foregone conclusion here too, but the sticker just bought himself a new Boston CD, and he wanted to give it a spin. So we let him loose, obviously, in the Aston Martin first of all. Here he comes now. Last little section. Coming across the line after Carpenter's corner here. And it's 1 minute 36 seconds. Now, into the Ferrari with his Boston CD again. One minute 36 to beat the final corner here. Is he going to do it? 1:36 and...
Predictably, it is quicker than the Aston, okay? But, and this is amazing, by 1 second. The time of 1 minute 35. Now, I'm going to put that on the board. There they both are. Behind the Noble, but remember, it was, I've underlined W for wet. It was that wet. It really was horrendous out there. Don't think that put the Stig off, though. He really tried, because this happened.
About 140 miles an hour through this corner. That's not bravery doing that, that's just stupidity. Now, we've got a bit of a Formula One theme going on tonight, which is why this has come into our little world. You see, Formula One teams are forever telling us that the technology and gizmos on their cars eventually filter down to the cars that you and I buy every day. Well, on that basis, we'd all be driving around now in a 1988 McLaren as driven by Ayrton Senna, and of course, we're not. In fact, the only technology I can think of that Formula One has given us are those stupid gearboxes that we don't want anyway. Now, rallying, that's a completely different animal. Sure, it has contributed one word to the English language. Does anybody want to hazard a guess what that word might be? Anorak. You'd know, sir, you'd know. Absolutely right, it's not an Eskimo word, it's what people wear on the Welsh hillsides when they're sitting in the rain. But rallying has given us quite a lot more besides. Turbocharging, four-wheel drive. And if you walked into a BMW showroom and said, "Can I buy this?" they'd say, "No, you can't." But you can buy a Mitsubishi Evo 7. You can buy a Subaru Impreza. And this has been going on for ages. You could buy an Audi Quattro, or an Escort Cosworth, or a Delta Integrale. Rallying gives us the cars. And there's something else it gives us. A world champion. And he's here, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Burns. Hey, Richard. Good. So what are they going to do about Formula One?
Try and make it more interesting. Try and make it as interesting as rallying.
Well, that's it, you know, because rallying is always seen as the poor relation, isn't it? But actually, it's coming quite good now.
I think it is. There's more manufacturers in it. There's a lot more people who can actually win a rally now than there is in Formula One. And I hope that some of the people who stopped watching that are going to start watching this.
Yeah, that's true. It's been kind to you, let's be honest.
Well, let's be honest.
I was seeing in the papers this week, twice as much you're earning now as Jensen Button.
Ah, really? Well, I'm twice as old as he is.
Yeah. And you're a tax exile.
I am.
Got a house in Andorra.
I have.
Got a girlfriend.
Yeah, which you need money for, obviously.
And you've still got ginger hair. You haven't spent
I
any of
have
that.
to cut most of it off.
Yeah. Why do you drive one-handed? That's what I can't understand. It looks like you're really not trying. You put both hands on the wheel, man. You go faster.
Got power steering. It's easy.
Yeah, but why do you do it? You've always just got one hand on the wheel.
No, I used to, but now you've got the gear change on the wheel then.
Oh, you haven't got that as well, have you?
Yeah, sorry.
It's rubbish. It doesn't work. That's
doesn't,
why
it?
you've lost the championship. Because of your gearbox. Actually, no, why have you lost it?
We've had a fairly average year, and our teammate has had a spectacular one. Simple as that, really.
No, you have.
Me and Robert. We're a team.
Oh, of course
I
you're
have
a
to
team.
listen to him.
Yeah, exactly. And he caused you to have a good crash, didn't he?
It was totally his fault. Yeah. No, I had quite a big accident a few weeks ago in New Zealand when it was totally my fault. The speed was right, but the corner was too tight.
Make it live for us. What happened?
The tyres had done about 60k. There are absolutely nothing left, and it's on full gravel, obviously. And we slid into the outside, hit a bank, the nose dug into the ground, and I went about 5 times over in the air.
Hurt yourself?
Nope.
Have you hurt yourself at all this year? Any big...
No.
Nothing? So it's Colin McRae that hurts himself?
Colin always tends to hurt himself. I hurt my co-driver, which is
fair.
More sensible.
Now, you've got this book out.
Apparently, yeah.
What's it called?
Driving Ambition.
In your book, you said when you were younger, you didn't like going to pubs and discos, and you preferred the company of rally people.
Yeah, but then I grew up, and I had that money you were talking about, and found out what all that was about. So now I do go to the pub. To be honest, I think if you don't allow yourself to live a slightly normal life, you're going to want to shoot yourself fairly quickly, I think.
Well, I mean, I saw a picture of your great rival, Colin McRae, the other day, tucking in on a roast to a curry sauce and chips. Now, I've never seen a Formula One driver going, I'll have the curry sauce on that.
They're not cultured enough.
Have you ever thought what it would be like? Come with me. Have you ever thought what it would be like for the people who have to turn up and spectate on the...
I remember I used to do that.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure that you've really got it at the forefront of your head, so I want to give you a flavour of what it's like to be a rally spectator, okay? If you'd just like to step out there, that's very much. Right. Now, we'll leave him out there until his whole head's turned blue.
What about a car that's got nothing to do with Formula One and nothing to do with rallying? The Nisssan Skyline. It's basically a huge PlayStation with an exhaust pipe on the back. And if you're interested in buying a second-hand one, there's a few things you need to know. In the World League table of supercars, Japan has only made one real contribution, the Nissan Skyline. It may not have the looks and the pedigree of an Aston Martin or Ferrari, but then again, it never had the price tag either. But it certainly had the pace. Whenever it went racing, it crushed the opposition. In fact, in the Australian Touring Car Series, they changed the rules so the car could be outlawed. The Skyline's strength lies under the skin, where you'll find a 276 brake horsepower twin turbo and an incredible computer-controlled chassis that can be two-wheel drive when you want it and four-wheel drive when you need it. But it's all over for this techno-titan because this year they stopped building Skylines and Japan's cut-price supercar is now available only as a second-hand buy. In all, there were 3 models to choose from. The R32, which was built in the first half of the 90s. The R33, which comes around from 96 to 99. And finally, the imaginatively named R34, which with a 0 to 60 time of 5.2 seconds and a top speed of 155 miles per hour is the best of the breed. Oh, that's nice. Not only is it blisteringly quick, but it's almost idiot-proof to drive, with that computerized chassis capable of turning Maureen into Michael Schumacher. A really clever torque converter. You've got active yaw control. There's sensors all around on the wheels. There's gyroscopes telling you how fast you're cornering and accelerating. They chuck all that information into a 16-bit processor, and the outcome is the car kind of looks after you. It doesn't have to make it corner quick. Look at the display here. Look at this. Ooh. As we drive along, we can check how many G we're going around corners. We can check the turbo boost. We can check the torque to the front wheels. I mean, it's going to keep you occupied for minutes. It's a fantastic bit of kit. It really is a car for the PlayStation generation.
So, big fan of the car. We all are, obviously. Great car. Which one should you buy?
Well, the first thing you've got to realise about Skylines is that they're mainly bought as playthings. So if you're going and looking at one, you can find a car with quite low mileage that's got like 3 or 4 owners on it. Because basically they wheel it out, do a track day, drive it home. Yeah. So you've got to understand that. And the other thing is you've got to be aware that a lot of them are grey imports.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you bring a car over from Japan, but you lose the service books and you often lose mileages.
Well, they have a little haircut on the mileage.
Yeah, a little haircut, a little trim.
Somewhere coming round past Dubai, or just trim a couple of thousand miles off. That's what's happening, is it?
Well, yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. And so what should you look for? What kind of things are they known for?
Well, I mean, they're a well put together car, and a lot of things about them are very, very good, but depending on the model, there are things that do go wrong. The R32s, for example, the brake discs on them sometimes explode.
Explode?
Explode,
what,
yeah.
Bang?
Bang. Just, kind of disintegrate, and they're 500 quid a pair to replace.
You don't want that?
Don't want that. On the later cars, on the 33s, you also get synchro problems on the gearbox on 3rd and 5th. You can sort it, but it's going to cost you about £1,000.
Okay. And this one, the 34?
The 34 is pretty much bulletproof.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a lot of money to buy.
Is it? How much is it?
Well, you're looking at £40,000 for one of these.
Well, that's as cheap as it'll go.
At the moment, they're about £40,000 for a UK car, yeah. I mean, it will drop, but at the moment.
And what about the question of tuning them? Because most of them, I mean, I've driven one that's got 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the standard car's got 276 brake horsepower, which, to be fair, is plenty. The minute you start putting chips on them, you're going to start getting turbo wear. The normal turbo will last about 60,000 miles, and it'll cost you about £1,500 to replace, twin turbos. The minute you put a chip on it and you start bumping that power up, you're going to shorten the life of the turbo.
So you really want to try and find one that's unchipped, unmolested.
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty hard.
And one other thing to note on these, obviously they're four-wheel drive, and when you're checking the tyres, the tyres on these are about £250 a piece.
So that's £1,000 for all 4 corners.
£1,000 for a set. And the other thing is, the way the geometry is on a Skyline, they don't wear out on the outside of the tyre, they wear out on the inside.
So like an Escort Cosworth?
Just like an Escort.
5,000 miles an Escort Cosworth, tyres have gone on the inside.
The thing is, when people look at tyres, they normally just go, okay, yeah, there's some tread on there. So what you need to do is turn it right on full lock, get your hand in there, feel the inside, and feel the tread on there, because otherwise you're into £1,000.
Good tip. Okay, so we've got the 32, the 33, the 34.